Are we ready to re-elect this congressman to another term? I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Just look around at this turnout. Totally sold out. Raising money for this party, committed to winning a bunch of elections next year in Missouri. How about that? I want to thank Representative Bell for that kind introduction. And folks, I'm Andy Beshear, the proud Democratic governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. If you don't know me, I'm the guy that won 3 consecutive elections in deep red Kentucky. I'm the guy that beat Mitch McConnell's hand-picked candidate by 5 points in 2023. I'm the guy that beat Donald Trump's endorsed candidate in 2019 and in 2023. To give you some context, I was able to do it in a state that Donald Trump won by 30 points. So folks, I am living, breathing proof that Democrats can win everywhere. And let me tell you, if we can win statewide races in Kentucky, it's time that we step up and win statewide races in Missouri too. I am thrilled to be at the Truman dinner tonight, and thank you all so much to your chair and to all of your officials for inviting me. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a proud pro-union governor. Let's give it up for the locals toasting us. I'm a proud pro-choice governor. I'm a proud pro-LGBTQ plus rights governor. I'm a proud pro-public education governor. I'm a proud pro-diversity governor. And I never thought I'd have to say this. I'm a proud pro-free speech governor. Now there are probably some people who would tell you that somebody who's pro all those things can't win in a place like Kentucky. But that is obviously not the case. So people often ask me, how'd you do it? How did you win? We won by staying true to our values of compassion, of empathy, and of doing right by our neighbors. We have to talk to people and not at them. And we have to explain our why for the things that we do. That's how I won in counties in eastern Kentucky, where Republicans have won for decades, including Breathitt County, the state J.D. Vance falsely claims he's from. If we were in Kentucky, I'd look at you and say, he ain't from here. I'm going to tell you, Donald Trump won that county by 59 points. I won it by 29 just 12 months before. So I know that we can win in tough areas, and it starts by telling what's important to us or our why. For me, my why is my faith. See, my faith teaches me the golden rule that we're supposed to love our neighbor as ourselves. And the parable of the Good Samaritan says that everybody is our neighbor. My faith teaches me to do what's right for every Kentuckian, whether they always vote for me or whether they've never voted for me. To treat them with respect. As people who just want a chance to live a good life, doing right by their family, their neighbors, and their community. It's been a hard time for our country these last 10 days. The nation saw, and far too many people, too many kids saw, the very graphic, violent murder of Charlie Kirk on video across multiple social media platforms. No one should have this happen, especially in front of their families, in a video that their children may one day have to watch. But now, leaders have a choice. They can condemn violence against anyone, anywhere, for any reason, full stop, period, and bring this country together. Or they can only condemn violence against people who look like them, think like them, believe like them, and only further divide this country. This is a moment for unity. And either our leaders will step up, do what's right, and embrace it, or further tear us apart. This is a critical moment. We should be coming together. But instead, Donald Trump and others are using it to further divide, to stoke fear, and to try to pit us against each other. It is chilling to watch the President of the United States strong-arm and threaten broadcasting companies to remove, of all things, late-night comedians who he doesn't like. I'm old enough to remember when Republicans claimed to be the party of free speech, and when Elon Musk told us we were killing comedy. And that's just a couple of years ago. It wouldn't be funny if it wasn't so troubling. The manipulation of a horrific act to further push anger politics is just wrong in every bit, and it's not what we should be doing. Remember, though, the way we face anger and hostility and cruelty is not through more anger and hostility and cruelty. It's through humanity. It's through trying to show our very best when we're seeing the very worst. And it's really important that we speak out in the right way. Remember, we're supposed to love our neighbor as ourselves, and there are no asterisks about who our neighbor is. For me, that's how I've tried to govern, and it's the only way we're going to move forward as a country. We have to move past this rancor and division. Yes, it's important in 2028 that we have a president other than Donald Trump. But it's also really important that we don't ever go to the place we are right now in our politics ever again. Can I tell you, in Kentucky, we've been able to do this a little bit. Yes, it didn't vote in that last election the way I wanted. But we didn't have the signs, we didn't have the flags, and we didn't have neighbors yelling at each other. And I'm convinced, by explaining my why, and by explaining ours, that Kentuckians know that's how we move past it. That even when we disagree with each other, that we have enough respect for each other to talk about what we're doing, and to sometimes give each other the benefit of the doubt. As governor, I've now restored the voting rights to over 200,000 Kentuckians that can now take part in our great democracy. And when I did it, I told Kentuckians my why. That my faith teaches me that second chances aren't just the right thing to do. They're what we're called to do. I finally got medical marijuana passed in Kentucky. Because no one that's going through cancer or no veteran suffering from PTSD should have barriers to access to relief. I removed the statue of Jefferson Davis from our Capitol Rotunda in Kentucky. Why? Because a glaring symbol of bigotry didn't belong in our Capitol Rotunda or anyone across this country. It doesn't belong anywhere. I can just pause a moment there. This federal administration wants to make diversity a dirty word. They want to make people believe that equity means that everyone isn't worthy of opportunities. They want to rewrite the hard truths of our history. That's not how I've governed. By executive order, I made Juneteenth an executive branch holiday in Kentucky for the first time in our history. Why? Because an important moment for our history should be recognized. It was a long time coming, and put simply, it was just the right thing to do. That same day, I signed another executive order based on the Crown Act that finally it finally prohibits discrimination against state workers based on how they wear their hair. Why? Because Black Kentuckians and every Kentuckian deserves to be who they are perfect just the way they are, and shouldn't be discriminated against in our workforce. I vetoed 4 anti-choice bills since I became governor, including one of the most extreme pieces of anti-choice legislation in the country that didn't even include exclusions for survivors of rape or incest. What that means right now in Kentucky is that rapists have more rights than their victims. Why? Because even though some people may disagree with me, I think that women of Kentucky deserve to make their own decisions about their own bodies. I recently issued an executive order banning so-called conversion therapy, a cruel practice against our LGBTQ youth. And it's causing kids and young adults to commit suicide in government. We should always be in the suicide prevention business and not the other way around. I have vetoed every piece of anti-LGBTQ plus legislation that's come to my desk in the last 5.5 years. Including the worst piece in our history that came to my desk during my re-election in 2023. They said that, and I knew that they were going to air tens of millions of awful, mean ads. But I vetoed it because it was the right thing to do, and frankly, some things are worth losing over. But when I did it, I explained my why. I went in front of the people of Kentucky and I said, my faith teaches me that all children are children of God, and I don't think it's right to be picking on these kids. I said, if our legislature is going to show them hate, I'm going to show them love. If our General Assembly is going to show them judgment, I'm going to show them acceptance. And I will never forget the next day I'm opening a factory, because the next day we always got to be opening a factory. And I had a guy in a trucker hat make a beeline towards me. And I thought, oh goodness, I know what's coming. But he stuck out his hand. And he said, Governor, I'm not sure I agree with what you did yesterday, but I know you're doing what you think is right. He patted me on the back. He said, I support you, and walked away. See, when we explain our why, when we're willing to show people the respect of not just what, but why we take a position we do, we sometimes create the grace and the space for people to think about things a little differently. Let this moment and the actions of the Trump administration keep us from standing up for our convictions. Folks, I'm the governor of Kentucky, a place where people will say you cannot take these stances. Yet I have every single time, and I won re-election by 4.5 more points than my very first election. We can both stand up for our convictions and also show the American people that we will spend the majority of our time doing the things that will impact each and every one of them. The reason the people re-elected me, that I didn't lose a single point after standing up for what I believed in, is they knew that next day I'd be opening that factory. That next day I'd be cutting the ribbon on a new road that saves you 20 minutes going to work and coming back home, 40 more minutes with your family. The next day I'd be opening a new clinic where you can see a specialist in your own community and not drive 2.5 hours. That next day I'd be in that next initiative to help public education make sure that each and every one of our kids thrive. Folks, that's the deal I've made with Kentuckians. And that's the deal as Democrats we should be making with Americans. Things that people can feel, touch, and see, that they know that we are bettering their lives. I'll give you an example. In 2019, I just barely won this county called Henderson in Kentucky. This is a former coal mining county that had been really hit by the shift in the energy economy. And remember, the term environmental justice came a long time before economic justice. So when the energy economy shifted, the new jobs didn't go where the old jobs were. And I remember in 2019, I won Henderson by just a couple points. A formerly blue area that was trending, and I thought it was the last time. But I landed the country's cleanest, greenest, recycled paper mill in Henderson. And that was something to do because I'm the first Kentucky governor that's ever said the following phrase: climate change is real. Because it is. You know, right now, they're trying to debate science. And I said the other day on cable news, science isn't Democrat or Republican, left or right, it's just science, and that's why we teach it in school. And I'll never forget, we're having a groundbreaking for this factory, for this recycled paper mill, and the CEO, who's from Australia, comes over the Zoom and he says, and I'm so excited, we're breaking ground on, and then he said the phrase, green jobs. And everybody there stood up and gave a big round of applause. Why? Because they paid $40 an hour, $350 for those jobs in that community. And later that year, I won Henderson by double digits. Folks, this is how Democrats win anywhere and everywhere across America. It's families that feel like the American dream is slipping out of their hands when we show up and we deliver. We got to recognize that when we do that, we're not announcing red jobs or blue jobs. In that instance, we were just announcing 350 jobs that were going to help every single family. Remember in a country right now that when people are struggling to pay that next prescription for their child, they're willing to vote for anybody they believe can make their life a little bit easier, can make their life a little bit better. I'll never forget, I'm out in Woodford County, Kentucky, in a push to try to raise pay for our public educators. And I'm riding on a bus with a woman who drove it in the morning and in the evening, and then did the books for companies in between. She knew exactly how much her grocery bill that she could barely afford cost for her family. But she also knew how much that vacation that she couldn't afford cost for that family. If we are willing to be that party that, yes, stands up for all of our convictions and shows up every single day, saying the American dream needs to be real for her, for you, and for everybody else, that if you work hard and play by the rules, you can not only afford that grocery bill, but you can take your family on vacation every once in a while, we will win all across America. Yeah. Unfortunately, I believe that's the reason that Donald Trump's our president. Listen, he was able to convince that last group of undecided voters that he was more focused on helping people pay the bills at the end of the month, while his opponent was distracted by other issues. Now, I don't think that's fair, and it's certainly the opposite of what he's doing right now. Instead, we have chaos and incompetence and an all-out culture war that's getting more dangerous and cruel by the day. Donald Trump is tearing us apart. He's tearing apart democratic norms. He's gutting our social safety net. He is weaponizing our National Guard. He is stifling free speech. He is fraying our international alliances. And he is decimating our intelligence community and our public health expertise. All while telling you your kids have too many toys. And just wait until the sticker shock hits coming up in the holidays. He is trying to keep us so distracted that we can't defend against any of it. He wants us to feel powerless. Folks, we are not powerless. While they are painful, the actions of the Trump administration are creating a huge opportunity for Democrats to go out and to re-earn the faith and the trust of the American people, to be the party of common sense, common ground, and most importantly, getting things done. Because you know what happens when Democrats win? We do something Republicans can't. We govern well. The congressman said, my next point, to win, we've got to be more than just against someone. We've got to be more than just against the Trump administration. We have to be for something. We have to be for the better life for the American people. So for all of us, the opening is there. Because things aren't easy right now. When you can't afford housing or groceries, when making the family budget work at the end of the month is too hard, nothing else matters. Democrats have to be the party that's seen addressing those concerns. We have to stay focused on people's daily lives. See, if the cost, again, of your child's next prescription is too much, and you're wondering how you pay for it and put food on the table, everything else just isn't that important. So we got to make sure that Americans right now know that Trump Republicans are devastating Medicaid with a big, ugly bill that is going to cause so much damage. Medicaid covers the people we love the most, our parents and our kids. In Kentucky, half of our kids are covered by Medicaid. 70% of our long-term care costs are covered by Medicaid. Now think about the fact that we have 35 rural hospitals that may close, each the largest payroll in their community. If that closes, so does the coffee shop, the restaurant, and the bank. Think about how 20,000 Kentuckians are going to lose their health care jobs, fired by that big, ugly bill, and 200,000 Kentuckians may lose their health care coverage. Here, it's at least 190,000 of your state residents. It's 25 Missouri rural hospitals that may close. That's 25 areas that will have that same impact. It will have a ripple across not just rural America, but urban America, and will be one of the most devastating bills for your ability to see your doctor in your own community. So what do we have to do? We've got to make sure Congressman Bell is in the majority and flip the U.S. House of Representatives next year and rescind this bill. And for what? What does the bill do? It blows $1 trillion plus hole in the budget and in the debt. They don't even get that part right. And for me, I feel it because it pushes a lot of costs on the states. And unlike D.C., we have to balance our budget in each and every one of our states. So what they're doing doesn't tackle our federal deficit. It doesn't make government more efficient. It's just mean and hurts people. Trump's trying to divide and distract. And how we win is to recognize that while we feel that, when most people wake up, they're not thinking about Trump. They're thinking about their family. While most people in this room are dialed into the outrage of the day, most people are thinking about whether their job can support their family and their needs. Most people are thinking about if their kids get sick, can they afford to take them to the doctor, and how far will they have to drive? They're thinking about whether they feel safe in their community, whether their kids are getting the very best expectation, how much traffic there is that day, and how safe the roads and bridges are. So the best way that we can push back against Trump is to prove to everybody that when Democrats win, we stay focused on the issues that matter to people the most. That's how we make sure that people who voted Republican for too long in Missouri and Kentucky start to vote for Democrats, because when we win, we get results not just for Democrats, but for Republicans and independents alike. And by governing well, we will reduce the skepticism that people talk about for the Democratic Party right now. Democrats can and will win again by taking back the middle. And it's there for the taking. We do it by showing up and getting dirt on our boots, making sure when we help start that next factory, when we created that next job, we are there when it opens. It's how we rebuild and regain the confidence of the American people. So let me say to you tonight, thank you. You could be a lot of places, but you're right here. You could still be licking your wounds after last year, but you're right here. The way we start winning again is in rooms just like this. The fact that you are contributing to this party, that you believe that we can fight for the inches to become the feet, to become the miles of progress, is how we get things done. My faith teaches me the golden rule. It says we love our neighbor as ourselves, the parable of the Good Samaritan saying that everybody is our neighbor. I am living proof that when we put people first, when we try to lift everyone up, when we lead with our values, we can and we will win. and continue to win. I close tonight by saying, who Trump is trying to make America ain't who we are. He has a view that people are fundamentally bad, that in tough times we'll try to tear each other apart. And as a governor, we led in a pandemic, and after tornadoes and floods and more tornadoes and more floods, I can tell you at our toughest moment, we are good. Our goal has to be to reach out to people, to try to see those better angels, to encourage people to love their neighbor, to walk out on the street and look at 6 houses because at least one of them is somebody that has a different party registration. We can be better than we are right now. I mean, the fact that we have a president that tries to divide us every day is antithetical to that Pledge of Allegiance where we pledge that we will keep this country indivisible. And tonight, you are here trying to make that happen. We need you more now than ever, and we need your energy. So let me ask you, are you ready to save this country? Are you ready